Hi everyone and welcome back to Adelshoven. I've just had some lunch. We're here in entering the afternoon or the second half of November, depending on your perspective. And if you caught the last episode, you'll remember we had just done a load of silage because the silage prices are looking pretty good. And in fact, at their peak, and they'll drop off a little bit. So we made the decision to sell what's left in our silo here. There's another 3 loads to go, and that got me to thinking while I was grabbing lunch that maybe now's a good time to set up some automation. So we've got a little course that runs from here to the sell point at the animal store. So I've turned traffic off and we'll configure that in a moment. But you might also recall that we pre-positioned for a couple of the contracts the tractors that we'd borrowed at field 17 and field 11. So keeping with that automation theme, I've added in Courseplay because there are a couple of unusually shaped fields, and I thought we might have a bit of a go getting the locals working on Courseplay. So let's run over to this one over here and see if we can get this tractor up and running. I'm certainly a bit of a well, let's say moderate experience with Courseplay, sort of on the newer side. So if we have a look here at our field and we go in to create a job, we're down here, up here at field 11, so we can go to Courseplay field work. It does pick up the field. We do need to generate a course. So let's, we've got the target position and the start position look pretty good. So let's open the generator. The work width looks wrong because I think we should be up around 2.5 meters on this plough. There is only one. Because of the shape, I'm thinking we might do 3 headlands and start in the center of the field. The headlands corners are pretty sharp. Let's go back to a little less overlap. The field center choices, spiral, racetrack. Let's go with up and down. Let it choose what it wants. I don't think we need to. There is no bypass on an island, and we'll leave the field margin. Reduce field size. It is quite close to the field next door, so let's just reduce it by a fraction. And in terms of field size settings, that looks like an experiment. So let's not do that. Let's not do that either. Create a job. That is correct. We want to start at the first waypoint. We want to open and close the course generator. Our settings are there. Now we want to create course. And let's have a look. We have 3. That looks pretty reasonable. So let's go ahead and get underway. And we'll just watch where he's going to go to start. Just here by the looks. Excellent. So with that one underway, we might jump out of the tractor and I'll see you over at the other field and we'll get the cultivating underway with the same process. Here we are at field 17. As you can see, it's a bit of a strange shape, but we'll do the same thing here. So if we go into our menu, we want to create a job. We are on this field over here. The field outline looks pretty good. It's got everything selected at the beginning. So let's open the course generator. This work width looks much better. Let's also do 3 headlands here. I think it can start on the headland on this course. I don't think we've got any trees that'll particularly trouble it. That all looks good. So generate the course. I wonder if we can straighten those lines up. Where's my line up road direction? Longest edge. That looks better. Okay. So let's start the job. And away we go. So we might leave this for a bit and let them progress. So here we are back at the main yard, and I'm thinking here that we should use Autodrive and have a go at setting that up. I don't know if you've used Autodrive before. I've used it a few times and find it very useful to turn the display, the little menu on is Control Alt and 0. So our corner speed, I think we want, I find it much better to slow it down at the corners. We're not using a combine at the moment. We don't want to restrict it to fields. I don't want automatic refueling or repairing, but I am happy for it to choose tip side and covers. And the only setting I tend to change in here is I like the above tractor lines. I find it easier. So that I think should leave all the rest of those settings to be standard. So we'll apply all of those. Why have I not got the auto drive? Maybe it's, there we go. Shift Alt gets you the little auto drive menu. And if I click my middle mouse button, I can unlock the cursor from the camera and go over here and turn on the road. And the first thing we see is settings that Autodrive's imported from the AI's splines that are on this map. If that doesn't mean anything to you, that's fine. But seeing how they are at the intersection behind us helps understand why the traffic gets a little hung up there. However, for what we need, these are the circuits that are defined for Autodrive, and of course there's nothing going to our silo over there or to the cell point behind us. So the advice that I've gotten from watching many set these up is that the first thing to start with is a loop. And the easiest way to establish a loop, if there's nothing to use on your course, is to hit record, and that'll put our first waypoint down. And then we can simply drive forward along the path that we want to start creating our course. So in this case, I can move my camera a little bit, start the engine, and away we go. And keeping in mind that I've got a trailer on, so I'm going to want to get in the right position for this silo by creating a bit of a curve over here and thinking about the types of vehicles that I'm going to want filling up at this silo. So I want to make that curve as wide as I can. Again, I find switching between the camera and then the free mode can be a little bit helpful in getting that to line up. We can adjust these points afterwards, but for now we'll see how that goes. Now the next piece of advice is when you're setting up at a point to load or deliver, it pays to drive through the point, allowing for the size of your trailer, to make sure that regardless of the trailer that you put on, that it will be activating the point. And then you come to this little icon here to create a label, and we can name this. And so this is main yard, yard cement silo, main yard silo, and okay, and you'll see we've got now a label for our main yard silo. Now if we drive now down our road here, we can continue along. I'm only anticipating this will be a single lane road, so that'll be fine. And if we come out here, we see that there's already a course that's on the side of the road here. So we might as well use that course for this direction. And so we can here turn off our recording and select the point that we want to connect from with the left mouse button, and the point that we want to connect to, and it'll create a connection in the direction of that travel. And one other little tip is if you've got a scroll wheel on your middle mouse button, you can turn that to create a bit of an arc, and Autodrive will put points in so that the vehicle will follow an arc, like so. So now that we're happy with those points, we can, in theory, just follow it round. You'll see there's a little red line off the top of my cabin there that connects to the points as we go. Where we're using the spline of an of the map that the map makers put in, it pays just to pay attention to how it's been loaded in. So you'll see here there's a bunch of things happen at this intersection. You know, this course that's on the other side of the road just stops here at a dead end, which this blue line over here is a two-way section, that becomes a one-way section. The one-way section is on the other side. There's a very square junction for these roads. What we'd prefer if we were turning this corner is to select our point and select a new one and put a curve in. Now we're not going to do that for the moment because we don't need it and it won't have any effect on the AI traffic. But when we get to fixing this map up, we'll have to adjust this Autodrive course. So at this stage though, the course we want to take heads through, there is a stop there. So we want to make sure that that one connects directly to that one, which it does. So we can go through the intersection here. Now again, allowing for the fact that we've got the trailer on, we'll probably want to get to about here. Turn on our recording again. It gives us a new point. And I mentioned you can move those points. If you select that with the right mouse button, you can just move it across so that it's more in the line that you want. And we'll continue recording here until we get to the trigger for the unload point. Again, try and allow for the sort of trailers and vehicles you'll be driving in here. I might want to use this loop with a bigger trailer and a truck later on, so keeping the turn as wide as possible. And when I'm comfortable that I'm through the point, I can label this one like I did before, and this is bale cell, or so let's call it silage cell because that's what it is for us. There's a limit to the length. Silage cell. Okay, now we need to continue on and connect to that course that we started just a moment ago. So here we go. When we get there, don't forget to turn off recording, select your last point and over to there. Now you'll see I've got a little bit of a kink, so it might be better to just sort of move these across a little, just to help. And there's our course. Now if we've got it right, we can now go down to the little roadway here and select pick up and deliver, and we want to pick up from the main yard silo. We want to deliver to the silage cell, and we want to put silage in. We just want to do a single lap around the course for the first go just to see how we're going, and so the on off button will turn us on, and we'll leave the course markers on just for a minute just to make sure that we've done an okay job. So here you go, you'll notice it's slowing down now for the corner, and as it approaches the cell point, it looks like even with that on the front, it does a reasonable job of picking that up, and certainly it activates the cell point. Sorry, the silo fill point. So we're filling up with silage. First tick. Now if we follow it back around, see how we go at the road, and you can see based on earlier episodes and what the traffic's like at this intersection why I turned the traffic off. It would be way too problematic to try and run this with the map traffic on. But we come across the intersection just fine. It will detect vehicles, but not at the volume we have. It comes around to the cell point, slows down as we approach the cell point. Again, that tank on the front misses the the target, and when we get across the place where it can safely unload, like there, we're going to unload. 41,000 we started on, and that's looking very good. So I'm pretty pleased with that. First attempt looks promising, and when it empties, if I'm not mistaken, it should sell, it should stop and say I'm done. Almost empty now. About a third of the way out. I don't believe we've had any messages from Courseplay, so I'm hoping our workers in the fields are progressing well. I don't necessarily expect them to finish that job today. It's not a rush. We took them on hoping that they'd keep us going across the winter, so far so good. We'll just wait till this trailer closes and just see what you drive up. Should drive up to the point and stop with any luck, and there we go. So he's now finished and is waiting the next instruction. So in our particular case, we want him to do that again to finish it off. So we'll put 2 laps on the counter, and we've got a lady this time. We'll send her around. While she's going with that, we might turn off our course because we're happy with the course. Jump out of the supervisor's seat and run across here to see how we're going with the ploughing on field 11. And it looks like he's getting on pretty well. There'll be a couple of little odd spots, but by and large that's progressing quite nicely. Pleased with that. Excellent. And if we have a look at the map, we can see that on the other field, almost finished with the headlands by the looks. I'd be guessing that that's the 3rd headland that's underway up there. So that's great. So if we head back to our yard, we might leave them off at it. Our sheep are all in terrific shape there. You can see in the background there, a trailer is unloading. Just want to make sure that I've got that setting correct and that he goes, or she goes for another lap. There are our sheep, 10%, because they only went in this morning, but 10 sheep, productivity is coming up. They have water and they have grass. So the lambs have got a little way to go until they reach puberty, but the established sheep at 8 months old should start working for us pretty much straight away. So that's where we are. It looks like, if I was to guess, I'd say that worker over there just detects the wall and won't, the wall or the pedestrians, and won't complete that turn. So let's jump back into the tractor and stop that. just have a look here. Yeah, it's that next waypoint is just a bit too far across, I think. So I think I just turned a little bit too wide. So if we back up a little. Let's just see if we can get that to go again. Resume its course. So we only want one loop there, so let's see. Do you turn this time? That looks better. Okay. Excellent. Now, what I was thinking here in the yard, I'll get out of the way there, is this space here. I like what we did in the last episode, and I think it's a terrific start. But I'm wondering if we mightn't also be better off grabbing the lot next door. I'm feeling good about the finances. They're covering our month-to-month leasing costs quite nicely. But if we have a look at the map here, you'll see that the field next door is only an additional $9,000. And I'm thinking of a couple of things. First of all, that if we were to go ahead and buy that, which I think we'll do while we're here, there's plenty of room to put, I'm thinking a couple of greenhouses and still leave, if we have a look at the placement map, maybe we'll do this next time. And we put a couple of greenhouses, and I'll talk about them in a minute. But I'm actually thinking of these ones, and now that we own it, they'll sort of fit. Maybe one of these and one of Omatana's open air gardens will fit down here. And then initially we can plant some grass and have a think about the crop to put. I'm thinking it might be ideal actually for potatoes, and the way I'm kind of wondering if this would work is we could use Omatana's open air garden to grow some seed potatoes, and then use the seed potatoes to ultimately plant in the field there. So that's my thought process. But we'll have to see how we go. I don't know what the planting season is for potatoes. So potatoes March. So we've got till March to think about that. So that might all come together. And the greenhouse I just showed you comes from a neat little mod that came out a couple of weeks ago, which included a specialized cell point and some different mechanics and a production for how some crops work, sort of like a wholesale business for farming. So we may or may not go in that direction, but I thought the thing that grabbed my eye about the greenhouses was that if we go back to the menu here, they have a couple of extra products. So they have peppers and cucumbers and onions. So that just introduces a little bit of variety. They still only take the water. It's a shame they don't require fertilizer and seed, but that's why I thought, well, we'll give it a go with one of those. That'll give us a suite of different products. If we run them all at the same time, they'll probably come out relatively slowly, and that'll sit nicely alongside the open air garden. So that's what I'm thinking. In the meantime, let's see how that has gone. He's all finished over there, so we need to go and thank the worker for their trouble. That's topped up the finances, so we'll turn that off. And that will do for Autodrive for today. We can put our trailer back over here. Wonder if we can squeeze that in the shed there. Probably not. We might have to park it up alongside. Let's just pull it in here. That'll do for that one. We won't be emptying it for a while, so we might as well duck back across the road and grab we can take this tank off the front here as well while we're here, I think. Let's put that in the back of the shed. A good spot. Okay, we can put the sprayer in out of the winter weather. Had good news from the delivery service. My steering wheel should be delivered early next week. Connect that one on. That's right. Had to jump out there. I can't do that with the mirrors here. The animal dealer can have his little plot back. We'll just park up out of the way, ready for the next lot of mowing. Which I might get a little bit cut before the end of the day. I just realised I didn't put the time back properly. So let's get off there. No, it's the tractor that's on. Which engine am I listening to? There we go. Vehicle's off. So let's go look and see how our contractors are going. Coming along nicely on field 11, which is excellent. And also on field 17. So can't complain about that. We'll leave them going and check in to finish those off, I think, in the next episode. Field 11's almost 2/3 done at 63%, but only a quarter done on field 17. So still plenty of work to do. But for now, I think that's going to be a wrap for November. So thank you for joining me. Appreciate you watching. I hope you've enjoyed it and perhaps picked up a tip or two about Autodrive and Courseplay. But until next time, have a great one. We'll see you later. Cheers.